So today we are going to delve into something that is both out there and very practical, namely the higher dimensional healing chambers. So, as I'm sure you know, we are all multidimensional beings. Here on this planet, in this body, we of course experience the three-dimensional reality. We are living in our own separate physical bodies. But we have also had glimpses of the fourth, the fifth dimension. We have connected perhaps to guides and high beings. We have experienced divine energies. We have experienced oneness. We have maybe accessed the Akashic records, or we have had the experience of the unity of all being, of breaking down those barriers of separation, of non-duality, of uniting the opposites, uniting the polarities. So we have already glimpses of higher realities, of higher dimensions, and there are of course many more. The sixth, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth dimension, the 10th. And for us, when we live in this body, when we live in this reality, sometimes those higher dimensions are difficult to access or to imagine just because we are experiencing separation through the experience of a physical body, which is separate, right? And that's why we incarnate here, actually, to experience this separation, to see the world through our own individual eyes. But we also exist simultaneously in many dimensions. So it's like layers of a cake. They're not somewhere out there, they're present at one and the same time. So the fact that we are in the 3D, it also means that we exist in all those other dimensions at the same time. So it's literally like layers of a cake, and we exist everywhere. But we, of course, are not aware of this multidimensional nature of reality until we begin awakening, until we begin connecting to it experientially. And more people are accessing higher dimensions, also because we are going up in vibration on the collective level, collectively, right, as the planet raises its vibration. So these higher dimensions are becoming accessible to more and more people. And the truth is, if you are listening to this, you are drawn to it most likely because you have already had those experiences that I'm going to talk about, those higher dimensional healing chambers. You have probably experienced them either in your past incarnations, your life between lives, between incarnations, or you may have even been a healer in those chambers. And the work now is not so much learning or receiving a particular initiation, but really unlearning what you learned before, unlearning the experiences of separation, of disease, of brokenness, of loneliness, of all of this, and just rising up to the higher level where separation doesn't exist, where all those lower vibrational emotions, feelings, states, maybe it's the best word to put it, where those lower vibrational states don't exist, where all is oneness. And as I said, multidimensional healing chambers, they are a reality, but they are a reality at higher levels, from the fifth dimension and up. In fact, those healing chambers, they have a very long history. They were used in the times of Atlantis. they were later adopted by the Egyptians. There are still chambers under the pyramids. There are actually people still go, and that's why it's so popular and so special to book, a private group session in the chamber in Egypt under the Sphinx, if I'm not mistaken. And in the pyramids, there were those special chambers of healing and initiation, which were encoded with particular frequencies, and they connected an individual to those higher worlds. And actually that technology was older than Egypt. It came from Atlantis, and it was connected to intergalactic beings, so basically to beings from other star systems, from other planets. And this was the technology that was used in Atlantis for healing. So those healing chambers, they are very real, but they don't have as such a special place or space where you have to go. It's true that in power places, power spots on the planet, where there are already those codes, where those healing chambers have been activated and working for sometimes thousands of years, this energy flows better. It's easier to connect. But if you had this experience of being there, of working in them, in your past lives, in your past incarnations, in your soul history, wherever those incarnations may have been, whoever you may have been, then it's not so much about receiving an initiation or learning or, getting somewhere. It's more about remembering it. It's more about connecting to what you already know as a soul. So just a little nudge, a little push in that direction, and you will most likely connect to those places very easily. And the healing that those beings are going to do is just going to flow very naturally into you. I have myself recently begun using those higher dimensional healing chambers in my own healing sessions with amazing results. Clients have felt shifts. They have connected to those beings themselves. They felt energy shifting, health issues resolving, psychological or emotional issues resolving, a great sense of well-being and peace, and the energy shifting incredibly. And then in our sessions, we go to the chamber that is more appropriate for each client, depending on their soul group of origination, depending on which high beings or ascended masters they are connected to, who they work with, what their soul history was. And I thought that today we will have an experiential podcast, in the sense that we will try and access one of those healing chambers and see where it takes us. So if you are driving or doing something that requires concentration, or listening to this where you are, surrounded by people and can't really sink into meditation or meditative state, you may want to leave it aside until later, and then listen to this podcast when you are home and are not disturbed, and have some time to just come into that receptive state. So today we will try and go to the Arcturian healing chamber. And as some of you may have already heard, Arcturians are a group of star beings that come from a very high dimension. Some people say 6, some say even higher. So they are very evolved as souls, and they are healers for the whole universe, really. So they are intergalactic beings who are healers by nature. We call on them for healing. As a matter of fact, I always call on Arcturians in my healing sessions to shift the energy, to clear the issues. So they are very neutral, very high vibrational group of beings that don't have any personal, let's say, agenda, don't have any ego. And they come when we call upon them. With very high beings, this is usually the trick. You just have to ask. They will never interfere with our free will or make us do something that they think we have to do, but we don't really want to do. We just have to ask them, and they will assist us. If we don't ask, they will not come forward because they respect our free will. Although this has been changing somewhat in the past, is a little bit different now. They sometimes do come forward and make the first step because of the time we are in. Because also we, in human bodies, we forget. When we are born, at least the majority of us forget our soul experience, and we get stuck in the earthly reality, and we are unable to call. So these times they have begun coming forward, or let's put it this way, interfering in a certain sense, so that they can facilitate our ascension and our healing. So this is now changing slightly in that they recognize that sometimes we are in a place where we are not able to exercise our free will, where we actually don't know what is good for us. But so let's not talk so much the theory of it, but let's just ask those high beings to take us up to their healing chambers so you can experience it for yourself. Just this energy. And if you feel like you connected with this, if this is something you want to work with, then you can always ask them and go into it in your own meditations. And as I said, also in my healing sessions, I use those chambers for healing, for energy clearing, for realignment, for opening up. So you are always welcome to contact me as well for a healing session. So let's begin, and let's just find a comfortable place to sit or to lie down and begin relaxing, as it were, dissolving the thoughts, the worries, the issues that we may be struggling with, questions, pressing tasks, just for a few minutes. We can leave all of this outside our world for now. We close the door to that other reality around us, put it on pause for a short while, and then we will come back to it and look at it differently, with new eyes, with new energy, with new emotion. From a different perspective. Sometimes we are so stuck in the rut and constantly solving, doing something, that we fail to see the purpose of it anymore, or we don't recognize the higher perspective. So for our own sake, for our intuition, for our peace, for our development, let's just leave those worries, those tasks, those pressing matters outside, and begin dissolving everything around us. The objects, the thoughts, as if you have an eraser that just dissolves everything around until you are in a blank white space. And focus for a minute or two on your breath, just on the rhythm of your breath, bringing all your attention to a spot under your nose, directly under the nostrils, feeling the breath flow in and out, just observing it. And we are going to ask the high beings that you are connected with to clear your energy field, clear all the layers of your aura. Clear the cords, the draining cords, implants, negative thought forms, anger spares from your field. Clear the space above your head and the space under your feet. And let us now ask for Arcturian healing team to come in and ask for their energy to become more present, more felt, more real to you. These are very high-dimensional beings, but they can also make themselves more available, as if come down energetically, so that we can feel them too. It may be very subtle, but just tune in for a moment how it feels when you ask the Arcturian healing team to come and to connect with you. And let us ask for them to take us up to the chambers of light. Our Arcturian guides, our Arcturian brothers and sisters, take us up to the chambers of light, to your healing chambers. Propelling our consciousness upwards, going through the dimensions, as it were, into a space beyond time and space. A place beyond places. Reality above reality. Let us just ask to heal and clear our energy. Remove the blocks that no longer serve us. Work on our energy centers. Scan for our energy to see what needs to be adjusted. Energize and activate our heart chakra. Clear the implants in the mind, in the brain. Implants at high levels at the crown. Clear our field from any interference. Extract energetic cords and implants from beings and people that are draining. Upgrade our templates of power and service. And if there is an issue, with health, be it physical or mental, ask for them to heal it. And you may see yourself now in a room, a chamber of sorts. It may look unusual. As if from somewhere in the future. These are blue light beings The chamber itself is emanating blue color, and they heal with blue light, soothing, comforting, and strengthening at the same time. Allow the energy to go where it wants to go. You may sense, see, feel, or imagine one of those beings coming closer to you, laying their hands on you. Ask for a heart healing and a heart activation. Please strengthen and activate my heart. Fill up my heart so that I may see the truth, that I may see beyond what is visible. That I may be clear of imprints and thought patterns and blocks that no longer serve me. Release me from attachments to people, places, or beings that no longer strengthen me, no longer serve me, are no longer for my highest good. And see the Arcturian beings approach you. Clearing your energy and realigning your physical body. Some of them are placing their hands on different areas of your body that need healing. Just allow for this energy to flow, for it to go where it needs. And one of the Arcturians will bless you by laying their hands on the crown of your head, also opening up your channel of connection to the divine, to the universe. Just allow for this healing energy to go wherever it needs to go. Allow for the healing to happen, for the transformation to happen. This chamber of blue light it may even look familiar to you. You may have even been there before. And for today, you can thank the Arcturian healers for working with you, knowing that you can return to this space anytime just by asking, just by tuning in a little bit. The more and more becomes available, the more you go in there, the more you connect. And as they bring you down into your physical body, feel what has shifted, what has changed, what has been transformed. What feels different, and also how did the Arcturians come across for you? If you saw them very clearly and connected to them very strongly, it means that you have already a connection at the soul level, that you already know them. Maybe if you are not a visual person, you just felt the energy. Or maybe you saw the visual very clearly. Or maybe you just had the knowing of what exactly happened, what was being done, what was being shifted in your physical, emotional, etheric bodies. Their healing technologies are very advanced, and we can't really understand or explain them so well with our conscious mind. So it is experiential more so than logical. But if you felt the shifts, it means you are already connected with those beings, and you can also call on them at any time. And even ask to be shown more chambers of light, more higher dimensional healing chambers, knowing that they exist and that they are real energetic spaces at higher dimensions that are becoming more and more available to everyone. At this time, and they will become more available in the years to come. So when you are ready, you can come out of this meditation and just tune in for a few moments to your body, how you are feeling, how the energy is flowing, what has shifted, if anything, or how you are feeling in general. And you can come back to your life, to your 3D reality. So I am not going to keep you much longer. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the healing chamber.